We're kicking off Super League Week 11 under the bright lights in New York City. Brooklyn FC playing host to Tampa Bay Sun FC tonight in our midweek matchup here at Rocco B. Comiso Stadium on a beautiful fall evening. Alongside former Manchester United keeper Gary Bailey, I'm Bridget Howard with you tonight. Gary, it's been a minute since these two teams faced off back on September 14th. Brooklyn got on the board early thanks to Isabel Cox in the 23rd minute.
Yeah, wonderful run down that left-hand side. Then with the right foot here, just sticks it in that far corner. Must have run all of 30-plus yards. Good control of the ball. Good ability here just to drop a shoulder one way and go past the defender and then bend it around the keeper. The only goal of the match, the only loss for Tampa Bay Sun this season.
That goal even more impressive that she does it all with her right foot, but on the left-hand side of the pitch. All right, Brooklyn went from a hot start to a freezing cold October. The last 4 matches, they've scored just 1 goal while giving up 5.
Yeah, it's exactly the opposite. 5 goals scored, 1 allowed to begin with, and then 1 goal scored, 5 allowed. So you're right, it's a complete switch. But Coach Jess Silver said, you know what, we've played well, we're just not getting enough shots on target. If we can just hit the target more often, we will get back in that win column.
Coach told us it's all about getting 1% better every day, and they're hoping to get back on the right track tonight. All right, Tampa Bay hasn't played in 21 days, but before the break, they were playing lights out, picking up a 3-0 win over DC Power on October 2nd.
Now this is Flo, actually gets the ball initially, then the ball gets played back to her. She's going to hit this from, 15 yards into the corner. She had an incredible game, absolutely. What a signing. She even gets on the end of this and wins the penalty. And it's Giamono is going to step up and slot this one nicely. But again, it's Flo who's created that opportunity for the penalty. Then Nacella with a lovely pullback here. And who's there? Flo sticks it in for the 3rd goal of the match.
Excited to be joined now by Tampa Bay Sun head coach Denise Schulte-Brown. Coach, 3 weeks since we've seen your group in action. How have you been able to maintain the energy over that stretch?
Yeah, it's been great, actually. You know, you can always use the opportunities to an advantage. You can see them one way or the other, but we definitely took this as an opportunity to grow and look at some bigger issues with the team. We also had new players join the team, so it gave us time to integrate them. So it's been a positive time for us.
And Coach, last game was a very good 3-0 win, and new signing Flo got 2 of the goals. How has she and the other new signings sort of settled into your team?
Yeah, absolutely. It was a good group. There was a good foundation. The chemistry was strong. We knew they were coming, so you know it was a welcoming. They kind of open-armed welcome the women, and they've been wonderful additions to the team. The level of practice has obviously gone through the roof compared to what it was. Not that it wasn't a good standard, but when you have that competition and everybody's in market, it definitely drives the level. So that's been great. But Flo in general, yeah, she's been wonderful. She's just a whole lot to handle. You know, if I'm the other team, I'm not wanting to deal with her. She's fast, she's strong, she uses her body well. She's dangerous in the box with her head, with her feet, with both feet. So yeah, she's a lot to handle.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for the time and good luck tonight.
All right, thanks. Go Sun.
Will there be magic in Manhattan tonight for Brooklyn FC, or will Tampa Bay continue their road dominance? We'll find out here shortly. Stick with us. We've got lineups and first kick coming your way right after this.
New flavors, the same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador. Spiked Bebidas.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blazed the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why.
Yeah, I said what I said. I don't care, I paint the town red.
If you can survive this, it's going to make the whole story that much better.
The bright horses have broken free from the fields.
It's time for starting lineups and a couple of changes tonight to the starting 11 for Brooklyn FC. Emily Yapel and Dana Sheriff up top in place of Isabel Cox and Jess Garziano, but also some changes in the back, Gary.
Yeah, Sydney Martinez in goals and Niku Purcell, she goes to the bench, and Sasha Pickard, she replaces Samantha Rosette. So in total, 4 changes from the Brooklyn side that lost at Carolina Ascent last time out.
Looking to see if they can get some more movement action up top with those switches. All right, well, looking at Tampa's lineup, Andrea Hochstadter getting her first start of the season. Lauren Kozel stays in net for the Sun, and Cecile Flo Nielsen remains up top. And man, has she been fun to watch since joining this Tampa squad.
She's been absolutely brilliant, as we saw in that opening section there. But 2 other changes besides Hochstadter, Riley Parker will lead the line up front. Sydney Nasello gets a start, and she has been so exciting on the bench with Silla Soleil, Erica Timorak, and Natasha Flint.
Well, a perfect fall evening at Rocco B. Camiso Stadium in Manhattan. We're getting a look at our head official, Jacqueline Metz, getting ready for first whistle. And we're off and running in week 11 in Manhattan, Brooklyn FC and Tampa Bay Sun. Gary Bailey, Bridget Howard with you on the call tonight. And Tampa Bay wins this up top. Carly Giamono with the shot, and this one sails over the crossbar.
That's a nice early effort there coming from the visiting side, and you do get the sense with their victory, the 3-0 victory last time out, the Tampa Bay Sun, with all their new signings, could be one of the exciting teams in this league this year. So a big battle ahead for Brooklyn FC, not only to beat a good side, but to get back on the winning trail. As we said, they seem to have just lost their mojo the last 4 matches or so.
Yeah, last 4 matches, 3 losses and a draw for Brooklyn FC. They look to put this ball up top, find Mackenzie George. Early call from Jacqueline Metz. It'll be a free kick for Brooklyn FC. I believe they called an offsides there on Riley Parker. And Brooklyn works it up this near sideline early. That'll go out.
Well, these set pieces are always important, especially early on in games, because you can get goals from set pieces, obviously. And that can get you into the lead. If you go back to the home game against Carolina Ascent for Brooklyn, it was Pantuso's header in the 54th minute that got them the draw, so they know how vital these set pieces can be.
It'll be Sam Kroger on the ball for Brooklyn FC in their gray and black pinstripe uniforms. Corner kick early, ball in, the back post. Headed back in, and that'll roll out of bounds for a Tampa Bay goal kick. And there's Jess Silva, head coach for Brooklyn FC. She was announced as the head coach on September 23rd, signed to a 2-year contract. Served as the assistant coach for a couple of Canadian women's national teams.
She's in a situation where if they win today, they're only 1 point behind Carolina Ascent. They will remain in second, they can't go up, but they could be right behind the league leaders. And that'll be a fantastic position to be in, especially given the fact they've had this dry spell in terms of results recently. I think for Tampa Bay, if they win, they jump over Brooklyn, they take that second spot away. So lots up for grab in this match today.
exciting midweek matchup here to start off week 11. Brooklyn sends this ball across the box, and it's Lauren Kozel picking it up. She gets rid of it early to Kristen Edmonds. They'll look to build out of the back. Riley Parker gets tangled up with Allison Pantuso, and it'll be a free kick. Riley Parker, the All-SEC first team and SEC Forward of the Year back in 2022. Giamona, midfield, looking to create space. Kristen Edmonds sends this ball forward to Riley Parker. She gets it just near the touchline. Back to Giamona. Giamona will play this across the box. Nasello on the end of it. Nasello finds the back of the net. Tampa Bay Sun up 1-0, 4 minutes into this match.
And no wonder the bench are applauding. It was a wonderful move down that left-hand side. Started by Kristen Edmonds with a beautiful pass into Riley Parker, and then Giamona comes along with the support. But still, what a good finish by Nasello. We saw how she had 2 assists in the previous match. What a good player she is, fantastic left foot. But the build-up, excellent from Tampa Bay Sun, and we said they were looking good. Well, it's taken them under 5 minutes just to prove the point.
Yeah, we asked Coach ahead of this match, how do you keep the energy going with this group despite being off for 21 days? And here comes Brooklyn FC trying to make something happen. It was Mackenzie Pluck getting the ball just outside the box. But we talked with head coach Denise Schulte-Brown, and she told us, you know, it wasn't hard to keep this energy going over those 21 days where this team did not see the pitch in a real game, right? They had those inter-squad scrimmages, but the energy is there, and Tampa Bay is ready to go here on this Wednesday evening.
Yeah, she was talking about how they got to work on things that you normally wouldn't get time to work on. When you go from weekend to weekend, or even, you know, you got a midweek game, you've barely got time just to get the basics in place. But when you've got 21 days, you can work on all sorts of extra important issues tactically and technically, and that's what they've been able to do, Tampa Bay, in the last 3 weeks.
Kristen Edmonds plays it back to Hawksdaughter. We've heard from a couple of Tampa Bay Sun players over the course of this season that they feel that Sydney Nasello is one of the best dribblers they've ever seen, and I think we saw that on that last play, because to have that type of composure on that goal, to keep the ball at your feet, create space, be able to find the back of the net, it's impressive. It's not as easy as she made it look.
Oh, absolutely, I agree with you. It's the ability to move the ball and your body at the same pace. Everyone who's played the game will know that we can run fast, but you put a ball in front of you, your speed decreases. Not so much with Sydney Nasello. She's so quick to move with that ball at her feet, and that in itself is a wonderful skill to have.
Well, Gary, from a keeper's perspective, former keeper yourself, from that range, Sydney Martinez didn't have much that she could do there when Nasello has the ball at her feet with that much composure and stability.
Yes, no, what, 12, 13 yards out, and you put it with pace, wide of the keeper. There's not much the keeper can do. But just credit before that, Kristen Edmonds with a beautiful pass down the line. Riley Parker gets it inside. Giamona then drives to the line and pulls it back. So there was quite a lot of work done before it got to Nasello, but of course she provided the real touch, which is finding the back of the net, something that Jess Silver and Brooklyn FC have been looking to do in their last 4 matches without much joy. And she was bemoaning the fact that they've got so many final third entries, Brooklyn, in the last 4 games, but the shots on target have just been really, really poor. And I'll give you an example from the last match against Carolina Ascent. They had 67 final third entries to Carolina's 47. Shots on target, 7 for the home side, just 1.
This ball slotted through, played across the box. Brooklyn trying to clear it out. Nasello on the end of it once again. She opts to play it back, finds Jordan Listro. No recycle. Cecile Flo Nielsen, number 13 up top, one of those international players that has made quite the splash for this Tampa Bay Sun team. She made her debut versus Lexington back at the beginning of September. Flo, as they call her, 2 goals against DC Power in their last match.
And she won the penalty. So it's a fair old impact to have in one game.
Certainly had a hand in every opportunity for the Sun.
So for Brooklyn FC, this is the 5th game in a row in which they've fallen behind. And only one of those games did they come back and get anything, and that was against Carolina Ascent of all teams. That when Pantusa came and got the header from the corner. So if you keep falling behind match after match, you put yourself under all sorts of pressure.
Ball picked off by Yapel. She plays it across, and it's a save for Lauren Kozel. You can see quick build here for Tampa Bay Sun. Flo on the ball. I think she mistouched that there. Martinez comes up with it.
Yeah, I think she saw a possible run there from someone in the center and tried to just play it in for them, but a little bit of a misunderstanding.
George gets around Hendricks. She'll try and use her speed. Enters the box, and Hendricks with the slide tackle, but George puts it across. Tampa Bay.
But lucky there in the end, Tampa Bay. A clearance hit one of their own players, bounced back. Brooke Hendricks initially got turned around a little bit too easily there by Mackenzie George.
Martinez will play this up the center of the pitch and will find the feet of Hawksdaughter for Tampa Bay. Brooke Hendricks, we mentioned her just a moment ago. She scored the first goal in Tampa Bay Sun FC history against Dallas in their first match of the season. Brooklyn trying to make something happen. We touched on it a bit in the open, but they made some changes up top. Jess Garziano not starting, Isabel Cox not starting. 2 players who have really been the catalysts for this Brooklyn FC offense.
Yeah, I guess the coach, Jess Silver, just trying to mix things up, see if she can get a better response. But to be fair to Brooklyn, their last 2 matches have been against the team at the top of the table, Carolina Ascent. So not necessarily that they played badly. And just to finalize the point I was making, they had 20 more entries into the final third than Carolina Ascent, and yet they had 1 shot on target to Carolina's 7. Ended up losing 2-0. So to Jess Silver's point, they're getting into the good positions, Brooklyn FC, and we've seen it already. They've been in a couple of good positions. The final pass and the lack of a shot on target, that is what seems to be causing them problems.
Well, and she said, you know, it's frustrating for coaches sometimes, that final third piece, because it's an individual quality. You can practice it as much as you want, balls into the box, but it's a matter of actually doing it in the moment. We're helping them as best as we can, she said, but ultimately it's just finishing their chances.
Very similar to what Sydney Nocella has just done. Great little bit of skill, good finish, that quality in the box under pressure. And what Flo here did in the previous match with 2 goals and winning a penalty with that header, these are the quality moments that turn games around.
Too quick of a restart for Tampa Bay. Viv Bassett sends it out wide. Yapel working her way back defensively. It'll be a throw-in for Tampa Bay. And how about that tackle from Emily Yapel? She picks it off, and taking it herself, trying to find Dana Sheriff, but that'll roll to Lauren Kozel.
Tina, there's the quality in the box that is so important. The ball was well won by Brooklyn. Good drive to the edge of the box. Got to find one of two options there. Dana Sharif was one, I think Mackenzie George was the other. Don't find them, and the opportunity's lost.
Ball played way over the top. Martinez will inch back. "13 minutes into this match here at Rocco B. Camiso Stadium. Tampa Bay Sun getting on the board early, Sydney Nasello. And here comes Brooklyn trying to even this match up. Dana Sheriff. She finds Sam Kroger at the top of the box. Kroger. Ball played across, headed in. An easy save for Lauren Kozel.
That was a little bit better there from Brooklyn. Nice moving the ball around on the edge of the box. Yes, they had a shot blocked and a cross didn't amount to much, but at least they were in control of the ball around the edge of Tampa Bay Sun's 18-yard box.
Officials are going to wave Riley Parker offside. It's like she looped her run too much. Brooklyn sends this ball forward. And one in the midfield by Tampa Bay. Picked back up by Brooklyn. Sasha Pickard trying to find Hope Breslin, but Hawkstadter getting some early action. Kristen Edmonds slow to get up. That official Jacqueline Metz going over to make sure Edmonds is all right. Let's take a look back at that tackle. Gary, what do you see here?
Well, there's a bit of a stretch. I think that's what it is. There's no other player around, is there? Just in the groin. Just overstretched to get that ball. Hopefully she's going to be okay, but she certainly felt that. A little bit of a concern from the coaching staff there. Denise Schultz-Brown. It's the last player you want to lose rather, is Kristen Edmonds, with all her wonderful experience and success she's had throughout her career. She'll know her body, she'll know whether she can risk it. You don't want to make it worse, but if it's just a little tweak, then she'll be able to get on with it. And all those games she played for Gotham and Kansas City Current, Orlando Pride, incredible career. Wonderful player to have in the locker room, I'm sure.
Denise Schulte-Brown talked with us earlier this season. They know not only the player they have in Kristen Edmonds, but the leadership that she provides for this team. We certainly hope she's okay, and you can see her here on the near sideline.
She mentioned Jordan Listro as well as being the other player who's a fantastic leader. That's why she's captain, obviously. Two fantastic players to have in a team, which has now got so many talented players and quality players. And just on the bench alone, Tampa Bay Sun can bring in former England internationals, Natasha Flint and Jade Moore, Erica Timrax there as well. I mean, those three would start probably on any other team.
A number of players they have as weapons coming off the bench. And I think, you know, it's what we hear from a lot of the coaches in this league is we haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg with the chemistry that these teams are on the cusp of creating, right? We're only 11 weeks into this season. There's been players added new into the mix. prime example, this Tampa Bay team, they added some international players that really have made an impact in the early goings of them in these last couple of matches, but there's still so much to be discovered about a lot of these teams, and I think there's a lot of excitement, especially for the spring calendar, right? And knowing that these teams are going to look much different.
And even the table doesn't tell us everything, because some teams have only played 6 matches, DC Power's played 9. Obviously there's been all sorts of other issues why teams have played less, such as Tampa Bay. But you know, it's this case of when everyone's played the same amount and there's a number of games behind them, so you get into 14, 15 games, you start to get a sense of who is going to be top, because right now Carolina's scent look fantastic, but you know, with games in hand, for example, Tampa Bay Sun could go right up there. And as it stands at the moment, Tampa Bay Sun are in 2nd position. And that would mean with a game in hand over Carolina Ascent. So things could all change in the next few weeks, as you say, as players settle in, coaches get to understand their players.
This ball will roll back to Kozol. She plays the short pass. Hawksdaughter in the midfield. Plays it forward to Flo. Bassett, a good defensive effort. Nasello sends this ball forward. Yeah, and Riley Parker is going to be called offsides there.
Not for the first time either. It's a very important part of being up front that you keep yourself on side as often as possible. It's way too many times she's been caught and lost possession, given possession to the opposition. It's almost like they're playing a 4-4-2 at the moment, Tampa Bay Sun, just a 2-up. They did start off as a 4-3-3, but they seem to have dropped an extra player back into midfield. Sydney Nasello being that player most of the time.
It's really fun to watch this Tampa Bay Sun team for a number of reasons, but I love how fluid they are, and Denise Schulte-Brown talked to us about that today. They may have a formation going into a game, but you might see, you know, the left back over on the right side. Like, there's so much fluidity amongst this group, and with that, you have to have really good chemistry and know that you can depend on your fellow teammates out there, and they certainly do.
Yeah, it's chemistry and it's communication. It's talking the whole time. If you leave a certain area, somebody has to fill in that area.
Jordan Listro having a conversation with head official Jacqueline Metz. Well, in the aftermath of both hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit www.uslsoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have the access to resources they need to recover. Brooklyn playing this ball around the back line. We talked with Jess Silva about this earlier this week. She said, you know, sometimes the stats can be misleading, right? Because you can have a really high percentage passing rate, but if it's all on the back line, look at where it's at on the field. You want to be moving forward. You want to be getting into those attacking zones.
Yeah, 100%. To me, the possession is meaningless, except for when you talk about possession in the opponent's final third, you know? That's when you know they're around the box.
Sam Kroger trying to create some space.
There's another one which is entries into the final third, or even entries into the box, which I prefer, because again, you can even be in the final third, and if a team's in a low block, you can have all these numbers, but if you haven't got into the 18-yard box, you haven't really threatened them.
Riley Parker keeps that ball from rolling out of bounds.
Expected goal still is probably the one that most coaches use. That's a fairly good measurement of how much you tested the opposition's goalkeeper. Even shots on target isn't necessarily good, because you can hit a shot that just bounces 10 times before it hits the keeper. Does that really test the keeper? No. So I think expected goals is good, but most coaches have someone who will look at those numbers in depth and analyze them and come up with some useful information from them.
Ball played forward, and too far in front of Flo Nielsen. It'll be a goal kick for Sydney Martinez. Now, Denise Schulte-Brown comes to Tampa Bay Sun after 17 years at the helm at USF. And how about this, Sydney Martinez? She played for Denise Schulte-Brown from 2018 to 2022, was teammates with Viv Bassett and Sid Nasello for the Sun. A number of USF players in this Super League, but specifically on this Tampa Bay team.
Yeah, we got to chat to Viv Bassett a couple of weeks ago when they won that match 3-0. And she was just saying that understanding the coach, and more importantly, the coach knowing that they understand what she wants, having 3 or 4 of them out on the pitch the whole time, they just know the system, they can help the others fit into the system. And you start to see results like winning 3-0 away at DC Power, and you think, well, clearly there's a very good understanding amongst this Tampa Bay Sun outfit.
On the pitch right now, a number of USF alums: Sydney Nasello, Viv Bassett, Jordan Listro, Andrea Hawksdottir. That's just on Tampa Bay Sun. And then you have Sydney Martinez in goal for Brooklyn FC. Defensively, what are you seeing right now from Tampa Bay as Riley Parker intercepts that one?
They're not quite getting the same sort of ball that they got early on. In the first few minutes, they were really on the front foot. They seemed to have dropped back a little bit, and allowing Brooklyn to come at them, but Brooklyn unable to just have any incisive movements inside the box.
Quick movement from that far side. Ball played to the backside, and Kristen Edmonds will shield this one as the ball rolls out of bounds.
See, once again, it's a lot of good play from Brooklyn until they get to that 18-yard box, and then there's just nothing that really is coming off for them. They've got to test Lauren Kozel there in picture, and they haven't done that yet. And they've had a fair amount of possession, but they're not a high-scoring team. Actually, they have the second lowest number of goals, only 6 in 8 matches. Only DC Power have less with 4. And I think, again, this is something that Jess Silver said to us. We're just not creating those critical moments inside the box where it really counts.
Hope Breslin trying to weave her way through a couple of Sun players will result in a free kick.
Just feel I have to give Brooklyn Sun love. We're talking about them struggling to score. They're a very hard team to score against. So they've only conceded 6 goals. That's the 3rd best after Tampa Bay and Carolina Ascent. So not for 1 second suggesting they're not a good side. They're sitting in 2nd place. It's just that they've lost their ability to score, and with that, their ability to get points. Just 1 point from the last 12, 1-0 down here. So they've got to do something different. They've got to come up with some way of getting a better way to test Lauren Kozel in goals. And that's going to be up to Jess Silva, and if they don't, then they will start slipping down the table very quickly.
Well, and Jess Silva told us, right, we've had difficulty scoring goals. That's what we need to correct. Maybe it's trying different players in those positions, and that's what we're seeing here tonight in the starting 11. Ball played across the box. Sydney Martinez comes to collect, but you know, we're seeing a couple different players up top for Brooklyn FC. The USL Super League Player of the Month for September, Jess Garziano, not in the starting lineup. You can tell Jess Silva's wanting to try and get those pieces of the puzzle to fit together. Isabel Cox, also not in the starting lineup. 2 players who, along with Mackenzie George, had things going and looking bright for this Brooklyn team.
And maybe they'll be impactful coming off the bench. We'll see. You know, some coaches, they get it right when they keep some of the more impactful players to the last 30 minutes when the opposition defense are tiring. Only time will tell. All you know is that you don't, as a coach, you don't want this run to keep on going. 1 point from 12, and if the score stays the same, it'll be 1 point from 15. And that's you know, your second spot will very quickly become 4th, 5th, 6th, and you're sliding down the league. So I'm just stating the obvious. Everybody knows that. What makes it difficult for a coach is to find the solution. And that's why she's the head coach.
Breslin picks it up in the midfield. Ball sent towards goal. And put back in! Brooklyn FC ties this game up, and it's Dana Sheriff in her first start of the season.
That's better, Brooklyn. Take the golf swing. They've been looking for something to break through. It was a decent shot that Lauren Kozel deals with. Doesn't deal with it that well. She drops it into a danger area, but at least it's a shot on target. We haven't seen that many. Look at that from way out. Goalkeeper doesn't get rid of it far enough, but good following up from Dana Sheriff. That's the key here. You follow up in the hope the keeper leaves something close by. She won't be happy with that, Lauren Kozel. She'll feel she could have got it away from the danger area, but credit a very good long-range shot and great following up there from Dana Sheriff.
Looking at that replay there, I can imagine Kristen Edmonds not thrilled there with that backside coverage, just losing Dana Sheriff in all the action. Sheriff has played in 5 games this season, has come on as a sub in every game, 63 minutes. She gets the first start of the season tonight and makes the most of it with a goal in the 28th minute.
Puts a little heart up there to say love to somebody in the crowd, but she deserves the applause. It's an instinctive thing. Some strikers have it, some don't, but just as that ball was being hit, she was going in saying, if the keeper has to make a save and doesn't clear it, I want to be there to pick up the pieces, and she was. Coach Jess Silva says, well done. And they're back in the match. They've had possession of the ball a lot last 10, 15 minutes, but they really haven't tested the keeper. The first time they do, they get themselves on the score sheet.
Gary, I know you're a fashion icon yourself, but can we talk about Jess Silva's bright pink blazer? I'm loving this tonight.
Just to say, very tongue-in-cheek what you're saying, so, in case anyone's wondering. But yes, it does stand out in the crowd, doesn't it? And why not? You're a head coach. Why shouldn't you be noticed? You know, you've got to make decisions. You're going to be judged by them. So stand tall, stand bright, and see how you can influence the game.
Sydney Nacello weaving her way through the box.
It's interesting how this game ebbed and flowed. First sort of 10 minutes, Tampa Bay were on the ball, they were positive, they got the goal. They really had Brooklyn in all sorts of trouble, and then bit by bit, Brooklyn fought their way back into this match. Started to get around the box, didn't really threaten much, but they had more of the ball. And now that they've equalized, now it looks like Tampa Bay have gone back on the front foot. So you just wonder what stopped Tampa Bay from keeping that pressure on, whether it was psychological or they tactically invited Brooklyn on and were hoping to catch them in the counter-attack.
We'll select the official matchball supplier of the USL Super League and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Brooklyn with that goal, already taking steps forward after a slow month of October, right? They made the most of an opportunity in the box, but also being down 1 goal, being able to come back, even this one up. They never were out of it, and there's still plenty of time left in this match, but already a step forward, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's only their 2nd goal in the last 4.5 matches. So they needed that for confidence. People will keep telling you goals change games. They do. Doesn't matter how you get them. It influences the way players think. We've even seen it here with the ebbs and flows. You know, Tampa Bay score, they back off. Now they concede, Tampa Bay push forward. It works your mind like that. So this goal could be absolutely invaluable for Brooklyn.
Giamona plays this ball to the near post. It'll be a goal kick for Brooklyn. Well, and I have to imagine it's also a confidence boost in knowing that arguably two of your best players up top in the attack in Jess Garziano and Isabel Cox weren't a part of that goal. So knowing that there are some other players on the bench that are able to produce just as well, another big boost for this team.
Yeah, because it is a squad game. You're going to get injuries and you do want to rotate players. And it just shows you the value of having a shot on target. But I don't think it was the best save by Lauren Kozel. I really feel she could have pushed it away from danger, but nonetheless, it's a good shot. It forces the keeper to have to try and make a save. Maybe it moved in the air, and ultimately all the keeper wanted to do was get two hands behind it. And you don't always have to create, like, you know, fantastic goals. We saw the first goal from Sydney Nasella, a lovely dribbling run, fantastic skills. This was just a super shot from way out, a little bit hopeful perhaps, but hey, fantastic follow-up from Dana Sheriff. If, you know, if you drop the ball in a danger area and someone's following up like she did, then you can take advantage of that.
Brooklyn trying to find some space in midfield, and up top they'll find Dana Sheriff. Sheriff takes a shot, just sails over the crossbar.
That's a decent effort, just a little bit off target, but it's allowed to run a long way. It's anything I would say there for Brooke Hendricks or the entire defense is you've allowed someone to get into your box and yeah, the shot's off target, but had it been on target, it could have caused Lauren Kozel all sorts of problems. So again, not the best defending by Tampa Bay. We saw those stats of target shots on target, exactly what Jess Silver was asking for. 4 shots on target for Brooklyn, just the 1 for Tampa Bay. So Jess Silver said, I want more shots on target. I want my team to work the opponent's goalkeeper. Well, so far, I guess, so good.
Kozel plays it out wide to Listro. And here you're starting to see Brooklyn put their press a little higher up the field. They know that Tampa Bay, more times than not, are going to try to build out of the back as opposed to the long ball. We've seen it a couple of times, and looks as though they feel they can maybe pick some of those short passes off.
It's a very attack-minded Tampa Bay, son. You think that someone like Giamona's in midfield is often used as a striker, and even Hawksdaughter is an attacking midfielder, someone who can push forward. I think perhaps there's a little bit of a gap at the back which Brooklyn are hoping to take advantage of. It's quite an open game now. It's very exciting because both teams are going for it. Brooklyn is the home side and trying to get out of their bad run of have to. And Tampa Bay, I think by their very nature, are a very attacking team.
Too much on that ball for Sydney Nasello. A goal kick for Brooklyn as we enter the 36th minute. Sydney Nasello got the sun on the board early in the 5th minute. And then Dana Sheriff puts Brooklyn back in this match in the 29th minute. Her first goal of the season. Sydney Nasello's first goal of the season. A lot of firsts tonight.
Bit of a word there saying you can't jump in front of someone when they're taking the throw in, not allowed.
Mackenzie Pluck getting a looking at from the training staff. It appears she has a slight cut on her arm they're tending to. Here comes Tampa Bay. Sydney Nasello with the great footwork. She's just a crafty player. Every time the ball is at her feet, you feel like you're on the cusp of watching something great happen.
She is so good. If I'm playing in that midfield, I'm trying to get the ball to her as often as possible. and then get Flo Nielsen into the center because she's such a good finisher. That would be my ideal combination.
Staud on the far side, asking her teammates to move, create some space. They'll play the ball around the back line. Hendricks send it back to Kozel. Ball played forward. Good turn from Mackenzie Pluck, who's back on the pitch. Hochstadter away for the foul.
Yeah, a little tug on the shoulder there, right in front of the referee. That's not going to go unnoticed.
Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including live matches from the USL Super League. Visit uslsuperleague.com/SiriusXM to view the schedule. That's Hope Breslin in the center of the field, clearly in some pain.
Well, the referee seemed to initially let it go as a fair tackle, and then saw the pain that Breslin was in, then called it back. There must have been some contact on that ankle. Let's have a look at it again. It's a crunching tackle. Yeah, I think it's a dangerous tackle. You're coming in with your studs up. Have a look there. I mean, she does get the ball. This is where the controversy comes in. It's not the fact she didn't get the ball. It's that if you endanger the opposition, even if you get the ball, you can be in all sorts of trouble. And the way referees generally work it is you get a warning if you're careless, you get a yellow card if you're reckless, and of course you get a red card if you're reckless and you have excessive force. That was definitely careless because the foot was up, the studs were up. It was bordering on reckless, but I think, yeah, it probably wasn't bad enough. You'll be so careful when you slide in with studs up. It's less and less able to get away with it in this modern era.
Well, we enter the 40th minute here, and we take a look back at how this game started, Gary. It was Tampa Bay getting off to a quick start, and just a great build-up from Tampa Bay, and it's Giamona playing this ball across to Sydney Nasello.
Nasello does so well there. She has the effort that gets blocked initially, then just dribbles in, opens up her angle, is allowed to sort of go central, which gives her a lot of angle to deal with left or right, and tucks it away brilliantly. But it was a nice build-up on that left-hand side between Kristen Edmonds, Riley Parker, and Giamona.
And this ball in from Brooklyn, picked up by Sheriff on the backside.
It's a good shot, and it's dipping. I think, just to give Lauren Kozel a little bit of love here, it wasn't the easiest one. The ball dipped at the end, and she just obviously was more. This is the golf swing comes in. Another little practiced routine there by the goal scorers.
If we know anything about Brooklyn FC, it's that if they score a goal, we're in for some exciting celebrations. They've had some great ones this season.
Well, that wasn't a bad one. You can see their practice because the whole team were just waiting for Dana Sheriff to do the swing before they all looked to see where the ball had gone to, theatrically. This is not good. You can just see from her reaction on the ground that is not just painful, it could stop her from continuing.
Hope Breslin, slow to get off the pitch, needing some major assistance from the training staff.
That's not good at all. That's the end of her game, you would think, but just hope it's nothing more than the end of this game and nothing more serious as she gets helped off the pitch.
Hope Breslin has been a big part of this Brooklyn FC team. He's played in 8 games, started in 7 this year, 507 minutes, 1 assist. So with Hope Breslin now stepping off the pitch, Jess Garziano, the Super League Player of the Month for the month of September, now getting her first action of the night. So we see Garziano onto the pitch. She was electric in the first couple of matches of the season.
Just curious to see whether she comes in that same sort of midfield role that Hope Breslin was in, or whether she gets pushed up front at some stage.
Throw in on the near side for Brooklyn FC. Garziano, 2 goals on the season.
That's a corner! That's a corner! It's never a corner.
That'll be a corner kick, yet another set piece for Brooklyn FC. They weren't able to capitalize on the first one that they got in the early moments of this match. Can they here?
Alison Pantuso, one of those who's up there. She'll want to recreate that goal of a couple of matches ago. That was actually not direct from the corner. The corner was played out and then the ball was whipped in. Let's see how she does on this one if it is direct from the corner.
You can see there's the short option for Sam Kroger. Kroger gets it at the top of the box, plays it in. That one sails way wide, excuse me, of the goal.
Yeah, that wasn't her best shot. And I think she was in 2 minds whether she was going to cross it or shoot, and probably in the end did neither. But that was similar to how the goal was scored 2 games ago. It was played as a short corner, came out, they then whipped it back into the box, which Kroger didn't do this time.
Ball played in, and that'll be a foul on Kristen Edmonds. She'll be shown a yellow card from Jacqueline Metz. Let's look back at this, Gary. What do you see?
Well, we've got to determine whether it's a fair shoulder to shoulder or not. Let's have a look at the moment of contact. I think the ball's gone past the striker. Have a look. No, I think that's... Wow, I think that's harsh. I think Kristen Edmonds has got that ball. Striker's run into her as much as anything. It's different when the striker's got the ball and you take her off the ball with the contact, but from the angle I'm seeing here anyway, I didn't quite see that as a foul, but nonetheless, referee's given it. She had a different view of it, and in her opinion, it's a penalty, so penalty it is.
They'll have Jess Garziano step up to take this free kick. Garziano waits for the whistle. Garziano steps up. And a goal for Brooklyn FC. Garziano puts the PK away.
Well, she's only been on the match about 5 minutes and she already got a goal, even though it is courtesy of the penalty. Sends the goalkeeper the wrong way, which is always a sign of a good penalty. So, well done, Garziano. Have a look at this again and just see when the ball's played in. I think Kristen Edmonds has got herself in a good position. Really struggles to see that as a penalty, but you know, that's part of the game. And it's given. And wow, from 1-0 down, they're 2-1 up. Well done, Brooklyn. They really looked like they were struggling first 10 minutes, and maybe they've had a touch of luck with the penalty appeal and even the shot being pushed out by Lauren Kozel. But nonetheless, they've got the goals they were looking for. Fantastic effort.
We talk about the ebbs and flows of a match. Well, just the ebbs and flows of this first half. It was all Tampa Bay in the early goings, and Brooklyn FC has been able to scratch and claw their way back into this one, and now up 2-1 as we inch closer to halftime. This ball won in the midfield. Sheriff, pluck out wide. tie-up deep in Tampa's half of the field. A yellow card will be shown to Jordan Listro. We'll have 5 extra minutes of stoppage time here in this first half. Brooklyn. Can they add to their lead here, Gary?
Why not? They've got the sort of flow going their way at the moment. The flow of Tampa Bay isn't working this match. And by that I mean Cecile Flo Nielsen. The 2 goals and assist last game. We haven't seen her at all. Certainly Brooklyn have bounced back well. Great spirit, great credit to them and Coach Jess Silver for weathering that early storm, coming back so strong.
A little bit of miscommunication on the near side between Dana Sheriff, Sasha Pickard. Kozel looks to build out of the back for Tampa Bay. She'll send the long ball forward. There have been a couple of moments with that long ball where Tampa hasn't been able to win it initially, but credit to the way Brooklyn has been able to defend that, make sure they've got that second person trailing to pick up the second ball.
It defended very well. If you ignore the first 10 minutes when they seem to be struggling a bit, since then the defense has been great. They've been creating opportunities.
Pluck plays it across the box on the far side. George initially looked like she was able to keep it in, but it'll be a goal kick for Tampa Bay. This is the first of 3 home games for Brooklyn, and talking with head coach Jess Silva, she said this is a big part of the season for us, right? They have 3 home games, then they've got 3 on the road to end this fall calendar.
If they can show the same spirit they've shown since they went 1-0 down, then they've got every chance of picking up a whole bunch of points from these home games. I think for Tampa Bay and Denise Schilt-Brown, it's going to be a case of how do we get back in this game? I mean, they've got the talent. Maybe they make some changes off the bench. The wonderful experience they can bring on. They have to wait and see.
That's a wrap on the first half between Brooklyn FC and Tampa Bay Sun FC. Gary, ebbs and flows. There was a lot to that first half, but your thoughts on this first half and what we just saw?
Oh, there's a very good start by Tampa Bay Sun. Brooklyn's come back well, created initially possession and then a few chances. Do you think the penalty was a little bit soft and it might be a touch lucky Brooklyn to be going 2-1 up, but I think they've been the better side overall, and there's a lot of work for Tampa Bay Sun to do here. Just hope Breslin is going to be okay after her injury. But yeah, smiles in the Brooklyn locker room. I think Tampa Bay Sun a little bit frustrated at the way the first half has gone for them.
Yeah, despite that early goal in the first part of the match, they dropped quickly. Brooklyn was able to tack 2 on thanks to Dana Sheriff and Jess Garziano. You can see Garziano there going up to Hope Breslin, making sure she was okay on the bench. But Dana Sheriff, in her first start of the season, gets her first goal in the 28th minute. And we're joined now by Dana herself. Dana, this team has been itching to score some more goals. How were you able to put this team on the board and start that spark?
We were told to just take shots, and in training I've just been following anything, and I knew if we kept taking shots, one of them would bounce back to me, and that's exactly what I did. I just followed the shot, and thank God it went in.
Dana, it was a great follow-up and well done on the goal. And just tell us about how the team has closed Tampa Bay Sun down after the first 10 minutes. You've really dominated the game.
I think Tampa Bay, credit to them, came out really strong, but I think we've been working really hard. We've had a very hard October with playing so many games, but I think it's just the grit inside of us, and we know we need 3 points, so as a unit, we're working hard and hoping for the results, and I think it's proving right now tonight in this first half.
Well, Dana, it's been an exciting first half. Can't wait to see what this second half has in store. Go get to the locker room. Thanks for the time.
Thank you so much.
Dana Sheriff, her first start of the season, gets her first goal. Brooklyn FC up 2-1. Don't go anywhere. We've got more coming for you right after this.
Hearts. No two beat the same. So we built a team of the best heart surgeons, pioneers of the most modern techniques, who always find the one approach that's best for you. But while each surgery is unique, the outcome is the same: the highest success rates. NYU Langone Health.
New flavors. The same traditions. Be the guest of honor. Add more flavor to your parties. El Jimador. Spiked bebidas.
This is the beginning. This is a first practice, a first video session, a first pregame talk. This is a first ticket, a first scarf raise, a first kickoff. This is a tapestry of clubs and players and communities inspired by those who blaze the trail for women's sports, ready to inspire the next generation. We are the USL Super League. We're part of a movement, and this is our moment.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Let's take a look around the USL Super League. National team call-ups, how about it? 8 players on international duty in October from the USL Super League, 3 from Spokane, 3 from DC Power, 1 from Brooklyn, and 1 from Dallas. Exciting stuff from the players in this league. And how about Lexington SC? They're undefeated in their last 8 matches. Both their wins coming on the road. A team that had a rocky start, finding their way. And Ashlyn Sarepka and Madison Parsons both recorded their first braces for the club last week. Some exciting players in this league, Gary.
Oh, absolutely. And you're talking about national team call-ups. Spokane Sophia Braun there, called up by Argentina. That's very impressive. Riley Tanner for Panama, and Charlie Escort of DC Power for Wales, and even Spokane's Amina Ekic for Bosnia and Herzegovina. So, and there's a whole bunch of others who are playing at the FIFA U17 Women's World Cup. So lots of talent in the USL Super League.
Lots of talent will be on display on Friday this week. Week 11 rolls on. DC Power and Lexington in our first match on Friday night at 7:30 Eastern, followed up by Dallas Trinity and Carolina Ascent. Now, if there's a match I'm circling on the calendar, it's that one right there, Dallas and Carolina. Carolina is sitting atop the standings, but Dallas, they've got an experienced squad.
They do, and they have 2 games in hand over Carolina Ascent, so a lot to be played for there for DC Power. Well, just hoping they can get some results. They need points desperately.
All right, well, we will have highlights, stats, and more coming from you for you after the break. Brooklyn FC up 2-1 over Tampa Bay Sun. Well, it was a fun first half between Brooklyn and Tampa Bay Sun. It was all Tampa Bay in the early goings of this one. Giamona puts this ball across, and Sydney Nasello does her thing, weaves around the defender, and puts Tampa Bay up early.
Fantastic strike. Great ability to get past those defenders, keep the ball close, control near her feet, and then pick out a spot way past where the goalkeeper can reach. So a fantastic start, but Brooklyn then got control of the ball. This shot coming from way out, dips a little bit, and Lauren Kozel there can't deal with it and just plops it right in front of the oncoming Dana Sheriff. She hits the back of the net, and then it was level. And at that point, Brooklyn really looked like they were back in this game. Great celebration, great response from the teammates, and applause. This, I felt, was a touch harsh. Thought Kristen Edmonds, yeah, there's a bit of a bump, but she had the ball, Kristen Edmonds. Shoulder to shoulder is allowed. Anyway, given, and that allows Brooklyn FC to lead at 2-1 at halftime.
I wanted more of a celebration from Jess Garziano there, but that's okay. We got a good one in the first goal. Don't go anywhere. We've got the second half coming your way right after this. Back in New York at Rocco B. Commisso Stadium, Brooklyn FC battling their way back now to a 2-1 lead over Tampa Bay Sun FC. Gary Bailey, Bridget Howard with you here on the call. And Gary, it was a great first half in the eyes of Brooklyn for a number of reasons. One, they were able to get shots on goal, which is exactly what Jess Silva wanted out of her group. But not only that, they were able to fight back from a deficit. What do you think the conversation was like for Tampa Bay Sun, though, in the locker room?
Yeah, for me, they have to change things. Substitutes possibly, and I can already see one there, Flint's maybe there's a second. I think this is the right time to do it. You bring on a change, you try and get back on the front foot that they had for the first 10, 15 minutes. You try and get as much ball as you can to Cecile Flo Nielsen, because you know that she's a good finisher, and Sydney Nasello. So I think we're going to see a big, big response here from Tampa Bay. The question is, can Brooklyn hold them and extend their lead?
We're underway here at Rocco B. Commisso Stadium. Second half under the lights in New York City. And a couple of substitutions early for Tampa Bay to get this second half going. Natasha Flint and Jade Moore stepping onto the pitch for Riley Parker and Andrea Hochstadter.
That's two very experienced players they've brought on, top class players with international games behind them, so they could make a big difference in the second half for Tampa Bay Sun. Jade Moore's got around about 50 caps for England. So all that experience and ability. Thought she might have started the game, but I guess it's important for Coach Denise Schultz-Brown to let the players acclimate, get used to the situation. in Tampa Bay, get to know all the teammates before playing them. But now they've been thrown in and they've got a job to do, which is get their team back in.
Emily Yapel takes this ball herself, deflected away by Kozel, and dangerous there. Nasello, again, using her quick touches to get out of the back. Look at her go.
She's taking on the whole team all by herself.
Scarpelli.
Brilliant.
Scarpelli will be shown a yellow card.
That's great skill, great ability, because she heads up and she's looking for someone to pass to. So, and she still manages to keep the ball. Look at that little acceleration there, wins the free kick, forces the yellow card. What a talent. And again, we were saying first half, if you're on the ball in midfield, you're looking for her wherever she is. Try and get her to go at them. You know the defenders don't want to be facing up against her because she's so quick and so good with the ball at her feet, Sydney Nasello.
Had Scarpelli not had that tackle there, Nasello was going to be off and running with space ahead of her. Ball played to the top of the box. Brooklyn will clear this ball out.
Yeah, I'm not surprised those two changes have been made. Expected goals in the first half, 1.5 for the home team and just 0.51, as we see there. Shots 12-4. Oh, keepers come out and done well to get that.
Sydney Martinez way off her line. Jade Moore on the ball.
You get the sense with these two players coming on, Jade Moore and Natasha Flint, that Tampa Bay are going to be on the front foot here. They've got so much attacking talent now on that pitch.
Jade Moore rejected there. Good defending from Mackenzie Pluck. Kristen Edmonds moving forward, she finds Giamona on the touchline. Giamona plays it across. A roll out of bounds. That's where Tampa Bay is able to find their most success, is getting it to the touchline. Giamona just has a way with the ball when she gets it into that area, and trying to play it back towards the top of the box. Sydney Martinez down though, taking a moment to get up for Brooklyn. You can see she's being stretched out, that right leg.
Talking about a substitution there, the way she was rolling her fingers, and don't know what happened there to Martinez. I don't know, because she didn't get hit or the ball just flashed across the goal. Maybe she had to move quickly and just tweak something. But it was a good ball put in, I felt, from Giamona into the danger area in the 6-yard box. Unfortunately, Sydney Nasello had pulled out, was looking for the pull back. If you have a look, there's enough yellow shirts in there for someone to get on the end of it. Goalkeeper dives, and there's no one nearby. Have a look here, let's just see. Goalkeeper dives, lands. And maybe just in landing there, she's just hurt herself.
Jess Silva was having a chat with Nico Purcell, the backup goalkeeper for Brooklyn FC, and she was still sitting on the bench, so it doesn't seem like it's her too much of a rush or worry with Sydney Martinez. Just needed a moment to stretch out that leg.
Pleased to see that she's back on her feet then. A nice little start here from Tampa Bay as they try and get back on level terms. But all those stats that Jess Silva was saying she once improved. They had more touches in the opposition box than Tampa Bay Sun. They had 14-9. They had more crosses, 8-2. They had more shots on target, better expected goals. So there's no question the first half was Brooklyn's, even if Tampa Bay Sun will probably say it was an iffy penalty. Maybe they felt they should have come in at 1-1. The question now is if Tampa Bay, with these changes, put the pressure on, What do Brooklyn do? Do they counter-attack them? Have they got pace to do that, or are they just going to try and defend this lead they've got?
Every Wednesday, listen to USL Super League Game Week, a deep dive into all things Super League with hosts Marion Crowder and Anna Whitty. Follow along all season long on the SiriusXM app. Stodd throws it in on the near sideline. There's Natasha Flint. Made her debut versus Lexington. Got another player slow to get up for Brooklyn. Looks like she just needed a quick moment. Leah Scarpelli.
A lot of commitment from both teams. Been some tough tackles, all fair. I don't think there's been any nastiness at all. But great effort from both teams. So much at stake here in terms of points to get up the table.
A lot of touches. This back line for Tampa Bay. They haven't seemed to be able to break through the lines for Brooklyn, with the exception of Giamona getting to the touchline a few moments ago. Really, Brooklyn defensively has been pretty sound to start this second half.
Yeah, they have done, and what they've done really well is they've not allowed Cecile Flo Nielsen to get much of the ball. Now, someone who scored 2 goals and won a penalty in the last match, you know she's the big danger. You want to stop her getting on the ball, and we've hardly mentioned her name this entire game.
Well, as Denise Schulte-Brown told us in pregame, no team wants to go up against a player like Cecile Flo Nielsen. Just her presence can be a lot for teams. Brooklyn FC hoping to pick up their first win in the month of October. Their last 4 matches, they've gone cold, 3 losses and a draw. Tampa Bay Sun, after 3 weeks with no games, they finally get back on the pitch tonight. They get up early, and now they're scratching and clawing, trying to get back the lead in this one.
As it stands in the live table now, Brooklyn, they're still second, but they're only 2 points behind Carolina Ascent. They're 4 points ahead of Fort Lauderdale United, so there's a bit of a gap there. But to be fair, Fort Lauderdale United have 3 games in hand. But still, it's nice to be high up the table. It's nice to have the points in the bag, and if this result holds, but I still think there's a long way to go yet. And Tampa Bay are definitely going to have a say in making Brooklyn work very, very hard for any points they get here today.
This ball flies out of bounds on the near sideline, a throw in for Tampa Bay. Jess Silva making a number of changes to the starting 11 tonight. One of those notably missing is Isabel Cox, who had the goal against Tampa Bay in their first meeting this season. Sydney Martinez comes flying off her line. She knows, being a former teammate of Sydney Nacello, she knows she doesn't want that ball out there in space.
Well, you mentioned the only time that Tampa Bay's been beaten is by Brooklyn. And sometimes you have these teams that just have the sign over you. They just get result after result. And that certainly looks this way here today so far. But there is flow, and you just wonder if she's suddenly going to come to life in this match.
Mackenzie George working back defensively. And a clearance from Sasha Pickard. after a back and forth start in the first half. Gary, it's a puzzle now, right? Tampa Bay, they're trying anything they can. Had most of the possession in this second half, just trying to break down Brooklyn.
It's almost a mirror image of the first half, in the sense that Brooklyn ended it by having all the possession and probing, and Tampa Bay were deep. Now it's the other way around. Tampa Bay are probing, pushing the ball around, and Brooklyn are remaining deep. The danger with that is eventually something happens in the box.
Giamona tries to get a touch around the defender. That was almost an exact replica of the play we saw earlier in this second half. They were able to find Kristen Edmonds in space out wide. She plays it forward to Giamona. They're trying to get into that space on the touchline, able to serve it back across.
If they keep doing that, you fancy something will happen. It's what Brooklyn did. They had shots from distance. One of them ended up creating a goal.
Sydney Nasello with the ball. Ball deflected, ball sent back, and saved by Sydney Martinez. Now, that counterattack there all started with Jade Moore. She's able to just get a touch on it, and Sydney Nasello picks it up.
And eventually comes across to Natasha Flint here, and she hits it, but she's got to come back to fetch the ball and doesn't get enough power on it. Normally a good striker, the English Youth International. When it comes to here, this is a really, it's a good chance, but she has to go back, fetch the ball, and just knocks it straight at Sydney Martinez. But you can see already little half chances beginning to appear for Tampa Bay Sun, and with a little bit of luck, they get something. It happened for Brooklyn. Their luck was the penalty appeal. Their luck was also a long-range shot the keeper couldn't hold. So when you're on the offensive and you're creating chances and you're testing the opposition goalkeeper, generally something will go your way, and that's obviously what Tampa Bay Sun are hoping for now.
Well, and loved to hear Dana Sheriff talk about how she was working on following balls in practice, right? Because as a former forward myself, I know the most maddening opportunities, right, are when you don't go for that second chance, and that's the ball that ends up bouncing into space, and you clearly would have had enough time to get a shot on goal. Props to her there for one, not only working on it, because that's not an easy thing to work on necessarily, just being ready in unexpected moments, but she worked on it at the right time.
Yeah, credit to Jess Silva and the coaching staff for putting on those training sessions and drumming into strikers. You always follow up. Whenever there's a shot, it is the golden rule. And not just for strikers, defenders. Because the question there was, could Kristen Edmonds have got back in time to clear that ball? Why is it the striker gets there first, Dana Sharif, and not the defender? So it's something you should both practice, attackers and defenders.
Yapel with the defending there. Brooke Hendricks sends that ball forward. Will be a free kick for Brooklyn. A couple of subs coming on for Brooklyn. Looks like we'll see Isabel Cox and Luana Grabias. Isabel Cox in for Emily Yapel.
That's about the right time in the match for them to make these changes, bring some fresh legs on. Isabel Cox got the goal when the two teams met before, so she'll come on with the confidence of already having put one past Tampa Bay Sun. Grabias as well, the Brazilian, a really exciting player, so let's see how they impact the match.
Isabel Cox wearing a face mask. You can see there when she came onto the pitch. Martinez shoots this ball forward. A collision there between Sam Kroger and Cecile Flo Nielsen. It'll be a free kick for Tampa Bay. With a quick restart, Kristen Edmonds comes flying in there. A throw in on the far side for Brooklyn. In the aftermath of both hurricanes Helene and Milton, the USL has partnered with United Way Suncoast to help the Tampa Bay area recover from the devastation the storm left behind. To learn how you can get involved, scan the QR code or visit www.uslsoccer.com/Milton to ensure individuals and families have the access to resources they need to recover. A free kick for Tampa Bay. Jordan Listro standing over the ball. Sydney Martinez comes way off her line there. Makes sure to stifle out any opportunity from the Sun.
She's got good height there for a goalkeeper to come and dominate that box. Just feel now Tampa Bay, they've got a couple more options on the bench, such as Erica Timrak, but they can still bring on Wasila Sole. You need fresh legs. The clock is now ticking for Tampa Bay. There's still plenty of time left, and they're on the front foot. You just think somebody different, somebody fresh might be able to get that breakthrough.
Looks like Erica Timrak will be that first player up for Tampa Bay. She'll step on for Carly Giamona. Timrak has started and played in all 6 matches this season. Former U.S. Women's National Team player, 2-time NWSL champ. Spent her collegiate days at the University of Florida. A decorated player, to say the least.
Yeah, absolute quality, and that's what they have in depth, Tampa Bay. The players they're bringing off the bench are all internationals, either full or youth. I mean, that is top quality. Now the question is, can she impact this game? Can she find a way through? But it's turning out to be quite a stubborn resistance here from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn inching their way higher and higher up the field with their press. Scarpelli with the throw in. Tampa working their way out of tight spaces.
Yeah, good pressing there just to force that boot out, and the loss of possession as well by Brooklyn. And that came from Natasha Flint and Cecile Flo Nielsen, just both rushing at goalkeeper Sydney Martinez, who had no choice in the end but just to boot the ball up the pitch.
Hendricks out to Listro. Edmonds tries to play the ball forward, but picked off by Kroger. And a great touch moving forward. Grabias takes it to the touchline and gets stuck on the outer part of the goal.
Wow, she had 2 options inside there. She had Mackenzie Pluck and Isabel Cox both waiting for a square ball there from the Brazilian, who'd done so well up until that point. Just flicks it there with the back of her heel. She's got pace. She gets away there from defender. Head up, look who's in the box there. 2 players waiting. Pull the ball back. And then from a very tight angle, she tries to squeeze it past Lauren Kozel, and I think the better option was to have tried to find one of those two players in the middle of that goal area.
Certainly a number of players in the box. How about Sydney Martinez using her body there to trap that ball quickly? Tough collision there in the midfield. Sam Kroger taking the brunt of it. Jade Moore be called with the foul. Just seems as though there's a bit of miscommunication up top for Brooklyn. They're getting the ball, looking forward with it. Those final touches up top.
I think for Brooklyn, those being 1 goal up with just over 20 minutes left, you know that Tampa Bay are going to have to come at you. They're trying to keep them in their half of the pitch and doing a decent job. Now, I think the first part of the second half, they got pushed way back, but they've stopped that a little bit now, Brooklyn. They're able to have some of the ball themselves and get forward. But you know Tampa Bay are going to have to take risks, and you could possibly pick them off if you choose your moments carefully. They're going to leave gaps. They're going to throw numbers forward, Tampa Bay. And the amazing thing is, if Brooklyn can hold on to this result, even though they've had 1 point from the last 12, 3 losses and a draw, they'll still be sitting second position, just 2 points behind the leaders, albeit they've played a few extra games. But it's still quite a nice look on the table when you look at it from a player's point of view.
Ball into the box, contested. Cleared out by Tampa Bay. Battle in the midfield. See who can pick this ball up, keep control. It's Tampa Bay. They send it right back to Brooklyn. Here comes Jess Garziano. Herbias tries to get that back touch on it. Great ball. Ball played across. Saved by Brooke Hendricks. Brooklyn will reset. What a number of opportunities in the box for Brooklyn.
Tell you what, some of the touches from Luana Grabias has been absolutely fantastic. Little flicks and balls back into the danger area, and she was part of that movement there that nearly got them their third goal. Nice little play. That was her just putting the ball wide there for Pluck to get the ball across. Koza with a good initial save, and then off the line by Brooke Hendricks. Absolute brilliant defending. Goalkeeper, could she have held on to it? Not sure. Makes a little bit of a touch to keeper there as the ball comes back.
Tampa Bay, dangerous moment. We're starting to see the type of play from Brooklyn we saw in their first couple matches of the season. Isabel Cox plays this ball forward. Kristen Edmonds sends it to Kozel. They'll try to work this out of the back. Cecile Flo Nielsen finds Flint. Flint sends it in. Saved by Martinez. The inaugural USL Super League season has officially begun. Visit USLSuperLeague.com for all the latest information, analysis, and insight into all things Super League.
Last little chance here for Tampa Bay. Good interaction between Flo and Flint. Flo just creating the opportunity, plays it wide to Natasha Flint. Has a shot from a bit of an angle, but at least they tested Sydney Martinez in goal. So they're back on the front foot here, Tampa Bay. Now they realize that the clock is ticking and they need to urgently try and get something on goal.
Bassett found Nasello, but a rare miscue on the touch from Nasello. We talked about Kozel quite a bit in that first half. But as it stands right now, what are you seeing from both of these keepers, Gary?
Well, they haven't had too much to do. I think Sydney Martinez has dealt with everything she's had thrown her way. No chance with the goal. Kamat taking some good crosses, been very proactive around the edge of her box. Kozel, we did sort of question a little bit on the first goal. Here's a chance maybe.
Natasha Flint, that's it on the near side of the box. Looking for support. It'll trickle out for a throw-in.
Pressure building here from a Brooklyn point of view. You can't, well, you don't want to defend for 20 minutes now. You want to try and get that possession and move up the pitch if you can. Easier said than done when you're 2-1 up and the temptation is to try and just defend your lead.
Brooke Hendricks, Viv Bassett. Trying to find a seam. Timrak loses it in the central midfield. Here comes Mackenzie Pluck. Pluck finds Grabias. And Jade Moore will be waived for the foul just outside the top of the box.
And the Brazilian does so well. She's so quick with the ball, so tricky. And she wins that free kick in a fantastic position. Ever since she's come on, she's been a real bright spark in so many ways here. And you can't really do that, Jade Moore, coming from behind the player, not unless you're going to win that ball very cleanly. She comes from behind here, just runs into her. I don't think there was too much doubt about that being a free kick, and it's in a very dangerous position and could have a real good shot at goal from here.
Sam Kroger stands over this ball. Just outside the box. We've got Mackenzie Pluck and Jess Garziano in line with Kroger. A number of players on that far side of the box. And not the attempt you necessarily would like to see from Brooklyn there.
No, not her best. I'm sure she's had a lot better than that in training. Unfortunately, it wasn't even close. Puts a thumb up to say, yeah, I got it. Wasn't my best, but let's get on with the game. We're 2-1 up, 15 minutes left. And now it's really that phase of the game where it's about hard work for Brooklyn, closing everything down, running, chasing, blocking Tampa Bay every chance you can. Even if occasionally it ends up with a free kick against you. And for Tampa Bay, obviously it's the reverse. You've got to get past that pressure, get balls into that final third and into the box and see if you can give your strikers a chance to get an equalizer.
Timrak. Kroger tries to find Grabias. Tampa Bay comes up with it. Edmonds on the ball. Plays it back to Hendricks. Out to Bassett. Long ball played forward for Cecile Flo Nielsen. Tries to get a touch around Martinez.
Actually thinking that Cecile Flo Nielsen actually got to the ball first there. Just couldn't generate any power on it. That's the danger she can present, and we haven't seen it from her so far this game.
Kenzie George using that speed on the far side. Serves this ball across the box.
Just a foot. Thank you. Thank you, ref.
Another little half chance there for Brooklyn. Decent ball put in. Header on target, just goes wide.
A couple of players making their first appearances of the match. Ashley Clark-Lemieux and Paige Almendarez. On for Cecile Flo Nielsen and Talia Stodd.
Thanks, ref.
Brooklyn with the ball deep in Tampa's half of the field. Here's Isabel Cox. Too big of a touch from Cox, and that will be a goal kick for Tampa Bay. Paige Almendarez, number 22 for Tampa Bay, getting her 4th appearance of the year. Ashley Clark started in 2 matches this season, now making her 7th appearance. And a foul in the middle part of the field. It's Mackenzie Pluck, number 19, down for Brooklyn FC. And man, Gary, she's had a hand in a lot of these attacking moments for Brooklyn here tonight.
Yeah, really good match there from Mackenzie Pluck, but not the only one. If you take that sort of 10 minutes of the first half away and maybe 10 minutes of the second half, Brooklyn otherwise have just been fantastic. Commitment, body on the line. Really have done well to come back from 1-0 down and to take all the pressure of the early part of the second half. It really has been a fantastic performance. Still work to be done, of course, but I'm sure Jess Silver will take a lot of positives from this. Something off the ball there.
And a yellow card will be shown to Jade Moore. Moore's been called for a couple of fouls in this game since stepping on for Tampa Bay.
The referee has issued out a yellow card.
You would think she's going to have a big role to play this season with around 50 caps for England. Her experience is going to be invaluable in building this team under Denise Schultz-Brown.
Free kick for Brooklyn. They opt to play it out wide. Mackenzie George on the ball. And an easy pickup for Lauren Kozel. Mackenzie George picks this ball off on the far side. She looks to play it across. Kozel gets a hand on it, but it'll roll out for the 3rd corner kick for Brooklyn.
A good save from the goalkeeper. Deflection there. She had to react very quickly. Perfect for Brooklyn. This is where you want to be. 2-1 up. You want to beat your opponent's final third. Take your time there. Cosiano with the corner. You wind the clock down. You just don't let your opponents come near your goalkeeper. And then you're pretty much guaranteed the win. So good play again from Brooklyn. Just doing everything right in this match so far.
Garziano plays it in. Tess Kozel looked like it was about to drop out of her hands, but she secures it.
It almost did. It was a second grab, and she did very well to hold on to it in the end. They were just waiting to pounce there, Brooklyn. And it's a good corner. It's whipped in with pace. It's dropping. It's not right on the goalkeeper. It's forcing the goalkeeper to have to take a few steps backwards. So excellent effort there from Jess Garziano.
The last few corners from Brooklyn have come off the foot of Sam Kroger. Brooklyn winning the midfield right now, and in these last couple of moments, Cindy Nasello Plays this ball out wide to Ashley Clark. Clark sends it in. Martinez comes up with it.
Wasn't a bad cross by Ashley Clark, I don't think. It was into the danger area, ahead of the goalkeeper. If there was a runner, that could have ended up being a good cross. In the end, Sydney Martinez more than happy to grab that ball.
It's an odd ball into the box, so it looked like it died immediately as it fell.
Yeah, and the thing about that is that the goalkeeper had to wait for it. So if you had a runner in front, they could have got a touch on that. But you have to look at Sydney Martinez and said everything the goalkeeper's had to do, she's done well. Her handling's been good, passing the ball out from the back, and certainly on crosses, she's been totally dominant at the back.
Martinez skyrockets this ball into Tampa's half of the field, picked up by Sam Kroger. Pluck. Looking for Isabel Cox. Now here comes Tampa Bay. Nacello with the ball, trying to find Clark. Flint comes up with it. Great defending from Allison Pantuso.
Flint blown up there, and very cleverly, a foul won by Brooklyn, just to close things down, much to Flint's frustration. Certainly a lot expected of these players with this background, and maybe with time it will all come. It hasn't quite. Jade Moore coming on, I thought she would get more control of this match, and Natasha Flint. But in fairness to them, they're new to this, not just this league, everyone's new to the league, but they're new to the country, they're new to settling in. They've only had a couple of games, not even full games under their belts. So maybe it's a little bit too much to expect big impact from them right now. Maybe over the rest of the season they will end up proving to be great signings for Tampa Bay Sun.
You can see some frustration boiling over for Tampa Bay up top. Sydney Nacello, miscommunication with Ashley Clark. You know, it's hard with the players off the bench, right? Because these players who are in the starting 11, they start to build that chemistry, and it's unique to each match, right? Because you can have chemistry in practice, but it only matters if it translates onto the pitch in real-time games. And, you know, adding these pieces in, it's figuring out who works well together in different moments of the match. And I think this Tampa Bay team, as are a lot of the teams in this league, still trying to figure out, you know, who works best with one another in that chemistry.
No, absolutely, and in training you might think you've got it, but it only really counts in a tense game situation. In Tampa Bay's case, 2-1 down, 5 minutes on the clock. All those things come into play when it comes to chemistry and understanding and communication.
Isabel Cox with the defending Grabias. Looks like they're gonna wave either Isabel Cox or Luana Grabias offside.
Martinez just stretching a few more seconds from this match as she goes down to that through ball. Trying a lot of long balls and hasn't really worked for them. Tampa Bay, they're looking for Natasha Flint, I assume, through the middle.
Pluck plays it forward. Good turn there from Jade Moore. Here comes Brooklyn, Jess Garziano. We've seen her a lot up top, but tonight she's been played back a little bit in that attacking midfield position, and I don't know if she's gotten as many touches as maybe we've seen her get in the past, but she's done a nice job of trying to create some opportunities for her teammates.
And it shows her ability that she is flexible, she can move into different positions, and just looking at the skills of Luana Grabias is that you can play her up front. She's got the skills, she's got the ability to beat players one-on-one. Maybe Jess Graziano sort of does work her way back into more of an attacking midfield role. Just have to have that flexibility as a squad, and there's some real positives coming out of this today for Jess Silva, and especially with the Brazilian up front. Looks a really exciting player.
Kroger plays the ball out wide to Mackenzie George. George takes it to the corner. Brooklyn hoping to pick up their first win in the month of October. Jess Silva wanted shots on goal, thought this group was moving in the right direction despite the results on paper. And tonight, they've seen that come to fruition. They've seen some balls go into the back of the net. Dana Sheriff in her first start of the season gets her first goal of the year. And Jess Garziano, the steady force for this Brooklyn team, putting away a penalty kick in the first half.
If you look at the expected goals, currently it's 2.31 for Brooklyn, just 0.76 for Tampa Bay Sun. So it just suggests that Brooklyn's chances have been a lot better. They've limited Tampa Bay Sun to, long-range shots and nothing to really bother Sydney Martinez that much. So fantastic job. And I've got to be honest, first 10 minutes, given how well Tampa Bay Sun played in the previous match at DC Power with that 3-0 win, I'm thinking, oh, this is not looking good for Brooklyn, but they've fought back and they've shown great spirit and inner strength, and there's a lot for them to build on here, and they're sitting pretty in second spot, 4 points ahead of third. So it's a great place to be, and even if you haven't played the a couple of extra matches, it's still, you've got the points in the bag.
Jess Garziano, the tackle on Timrak. Tampa Bay trying to make something happen in the final moments of this second half. Nasello trying to create space, and again, miscommunication with the runners and players up top for Tampa Bay.
And I guess Tampa Bay just have to start looking to matches coming up as soon as this one's over. They haven't got an easy trip to Spokane next match, but then Lexington home, and then a sort of mini local derby, I would guess, with Fort Lauderdale. And they've got to try and bounce back. They've got the players to do it. And maybe, to be fair to them, it's been 3 weeks since their last match. Maybe that competitive edge has slipped away. I guess that's what most of the players and the coach will probably put it down to, is, okay, that one was 3 weeks away from our last game. It didn't work out, but now we're back in the groove. Now we have to get result after result. So the next focus will be Spokane away.
We've got 4 minutes of stoppage time added to this second half. Yeah, to your point, Gary, both of these teams playing 2 matches this week. Both will be back on the pitch on Sunday. Brooklyn playing host to Fort Lauderdale United. Tampa Bay with the cross-country flight to Spokane.
Good thing for Brooklyn, I think Jess Silva was mentioning to us, they don't have to travel for the next 2 matches. He said it can be very tiring, it can be very disruptive, especially when you're playing 2 games a week. Unfortunately for her, the 2 games are going back-to-back at home. So she said everyone can just get home to their own place and relax and not have to worry about catching flights and packing bags, etc. And she said that really helps when you've got a busy week.
Much better to have tired legs at home, she said, and being able to play with the advantage of being on your home turf, having your home fans to keep the energy alive.
Yeah, it's fine when you've got 1 match a week and you have to get out to the West Coast and you've got time to go early, and when you've got 2 matches in a week and there's very little sort of recovery time, that's when it's really ideal to be at home. So again, something for Brooklyn to build on this result should it hold. A couple of more games at home, and if that goes really well, then their season is set up for a grand finale.
Sasha Pickard shields that ball out of bounds. Stay up to date with the USL Super League. Sign up for the Super Newsletter. Get news about your favorite team and stories from around the league delivered directly to your inbox weekly. Sign up at uslsuperleague.com/newsletter. Sydney Nacello on the ball. Just a little too far for Paige Almendarez.
There's something else I think Brooklyn's done really well tonight is we talked about Flo and how dangerous she was in the last match, 2 goals and winning the penalty. She hardly got a kick tonight and eventually got substituted. Now, it could just be that she had an off day, but I think I'd rather give the credit to Brooklyn and their defense because they closed her down. Pickard in particular was, every time she got the ball, Pickard would close her down. So good defensive work from Brooklyn and job well done.
I think for Tampa Bay, their bright spot in this match is Sydney Nacello. Whenever she was on the ball, she was able to create space for herself, found an outlet, was able to find the back of the net. Here comes Flint. Flint plays it across the box, trying to find Clark.
Jade Moore was just winding up for a volley then. She could see glory written all over the headlines. And the whistle blew. That's a little bit better from Natasha Flint, just creating some trouble down that right-hand side, but all coming a little bit late in the match.
And Edmonds battling it out on the near sideline as the clock winds down in this second half. Scarpelli lays it up to Isabel Cox. Cox will take it to the corner. You can see Luana Gravias with the excitement. This Brooklyn team was hoping for this win tonight. They needed the boost of energy. Their first win in 6 games, Gary.
Yeah, they've broken that bad run and they've done it with great courage, great strength. Really impressed with the way they came back from 1-0 down, and wow, they can celebrate those 3 points, and they're now sitting well clear in that second spot, just 2 points behind the leaders, Carolina Ascent. I think for Tampa Bay Sun, it's going to be a disappointing one, not just from the fact they didn't pick up any points, but just the way they played wasn't as good as we saw them against DC Power in that 3-0 win. And again, I think we put it down to the fact they haven't played for 3 weeks. That's got to be a major factor.
And that was almost misleading at the beginning part of the game, right? Because they go 21 days without playing a match, and then yet here they come in the 5th minute of the game. Sydney Nacello was able to put them on the board. It looked as though they had all the energy. It was built up and they were ready to use it on the pitch, but after that first goal from Sydney Nacello, it appeared the group almost, was content in sitting back defensively, and that's when Brooklyn was able to make the most of it.
And that could be also down to Brooklyn just picking themselves up and putting that pressure on. And to be fair, that first goal was a long shot from way out that Kozol wasn't able to handle. So it was a gritty performance to get back in the match. And well done there, Jess Silver and your entire squad.
A lot to look forward to for this Brooklyn squad. Again, they pick up their first win in 6 games. 2-1 over Tampa Bay Sun here in New York City tonight. We've got more for you. Stick with us. back in New York at Rocco B. Commisso Stadium. Gary Bailey, Bridget Howard with you. Brooklyn FC picking up their first win in the month of October, 2-1 over Tampa Bay Sun. It was an exciting one tonight. A lot of ups and downs in the first half, and Brooklyn able to hang on with their 2 goals. Well, we're joined now by Jess Garziano from Brooklyn FC. Jess, it's like you're just a natural at penalty kicks. Take us through that one and how you were able to put your group up 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough foul. Dana fell in the box, and a really good play from her. One of my first touches on the field, but I knew I had to finish that one for my team, and I'm happy we got the win tonight.
And just it's not just the fact you scored goals, you were able to restrict Tampa. Your expected goals, 2.31 for you, 0.76 for them. Just talked about the whole team effort and how well you guys did as a team today.
Yeah, I mean, everyone put in a hard shift. Tampa's a really good team, and we knew we needed a win after a few losses, so this really is going to help us and give us momentum moving forward. So really happy to get the win tonight.
Yeah, Jess, what did this win prove about this team's resilience? Being able to scratch and claw your way back on your home turf after Cindy Nacello put this Tampa team up early.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that's never going to give up. Brooklyn is resilient, and everyone's going to remember that from now going forward. So we had to put that statement out there that we're not going to ever give up.
Jess, an exciting win for this Brooklyn group. Thanks so much for the time, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Gary, we talked about it. A lot of excitement in the first half between these two teams, and it was all Tampa in the first couple of moments.
It certainly was, Bridget. Cindy Nacello doing so well here. Just beats one, beats two. Then with a left foot, bends it past the keeper. Doesn't give Sydney Martinez a chance at all as she puts some power into that shot from 12 yards out. And you're right, we just thought from early on, Tampa Bay Sun were really dominating, but slowly Brooklyn fought their way back in. And there's this effort that comes in here. It's 30 yards out. And then Lauren Kozel can't quite deal with it, but you have to give Dana Sheriff all the credit in the world for being aware of it and beating the defender, in particular this time, Kristen Edmonds, to get to that loose ball.
Her first start of the season, first goal of the season, first celebration, an A+ on the celebration, Gary.
It was a good, fun celebration. Penalty dubious for me, but given Dana Sharif getting herself in a good position to win the penalty, Jess Garziano, as we said, steps up, sends Kozel the wrong way, and then there's a little bit of a heart to the crowd, and that's where it stayed. It stayed at 2-1. Good second half from Brooklyn, just shutting down Tampa Bay, not allowing them too many chances. Give that expected goals again, 2.31 for the home side, just 0.76 for Tampa Bay. The stats would suggest that Brooklyn deserved the win, and they've got the 3 points.
And although the possession leaned heavily in favor of Tampa Bay, you look at what Jess Silva was most focused on heading into this match, and it was shots on target. They had 15 shots total, 6 shots on target. Exactly what you want to see when you're trying to get this group moving in the right direction offensively.
Yeah, 14 crosses to just to the 4 for Tampa Bay Sun. So yeah, the stats in favor of Brooklyn.
Well, Brooklyn FC picks up a much-needed win at home at Rocco B. Commisso Stadium tonight, 2-1 over Tampa Bay Sun. From our producer, Maria Ringo, my partner, Gary Bailey, I'm Bridget Howard, signing off from New York City. Brooklyn FC with the win, 2-1 over Tampa Bay.
Very good long-range shot and great.